Otes is the final antagonist of SEVENS. Luke versus Tiger, a duel we finally get to see. And we see 4 of the KO girls, plus a few extra variations in this episode. Also, Dragon Maid Roman. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today let's talk about episode 88 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens anime series. A very enjoyable episode that explains in detail a bit more about Luke's watch. So that's the point we're going to start with today. So it turns out that this watch that Luke has, his Devil Luke or whatever you want to call it, is part of a collection of defective watches stored in the KGC storage facility. Now of course our heroes go underground to locate these watches, but actually they're looking for an amplifier for the polyuse effect that obviously Luke uses. Now our heroes are of course disappointed and discouraged after finding out that this is what they were led to. This is where Tiger slots into the role of antagonist slash villain. Her voice acting and dialogue in this segment was perfect. I absolutely loved it because it creates tension, and what Tiger was saying was actually pretty much on point. She wanted to get under Luke's skin with this conversation, and did she ever? Now Tiger has been seen as being selfish throughout the series, but also not very good at communicating her feelings well with other people. But in this particular situation, I think Tiger has realized a way to help our heroes out, and causing this massive emotional flux within Luke is all part of her genius plan. We know that the plan for our heroes is to shut down the Gohar systems. That's why they tried using the poly effect. Now one way they actually could use these defective watches could be to give a watch to each different character that we've seen throughout the series so far, side characters included. Scatter them throughout Gohar City and make them use the poly effect that these watches emit, and then have them bouncing off each other so that they create a wide range of a effect, shutting down the system across the whole of Gohar City in that way of thinking. So that's the thing that first popped into my mind when I first saw these watches. Of course Tiger's plan might involve a character called the Luke Man, who is of course an AI, meaning he can travel across the system and electrical lines, interfering with the Gohar systems that our heroes are trying to do, thus destroying or shutting it down. Meanwhile, making this duel between Luke a way of testing Luke's resolve in helping Swirly and standing up for his friends. After all, Yuga was being berated by Tiger with that line of dialogue. Of course, Luke, after learning about these watches, seemed downhearted and unsure about how he's able to help Swirly moving forward. So we are bound to get some emotional development from Luke in the next episode. Now personally, I don't like the idea of the Luke Man arriving to help Luke out, because I feel like that would take away from not only this long awaited duel between brother and sister, but it will also take away from Luke's showcasing of development. Yes, we already see a small amount of development from Luke in standing up against Tiger, dueling her with fire in his eyes and passion for what he believes in, but at the same time I feel like we need more from Luke, and the Luke Man would hinder that. Also, I think a part of me believes that Tiger genuinely was annoyed with everyone's reaction to those watches. We know Tiger doesn't like Luke's flip-floppy moods that he gets into, so maybe her line of dialogue, "They were pure fire," was just her speaking from the heart. The Machine Cavalry Club arrived to help dig the ground, and they did a pretty good job. That excavation site looked really clean and tidy. But I do have to say, do they have permission to do that? Just imagine if memory sealed Gakuto was still around, watching them do that. All hell would break loose. So, another trio that appeared within this episode, one that I didn't like seeing this mistreatment of, was Nanaho and her 2 ninjas. Surely they have to escape and free Gohar Yuga from this James Bond situation. And who knows, maybe they'll get an off-screen duel against the KO girls as well. Another surprising thing from this episode though was Goha Yuga remembering the Mantis and the Beetle Ninja's names. Like, that was surprising. And of course the whole thing about falling from the sky and only, having a headache. Impressive. Really quick though, isn't it super creepy how Otes, who is an adult, has 4 children in his custody, tied up and captive. Plus one of his assistants is recording this? Someone really should call the FBI. Just saying. Now then, the missing pages of the Sevens book revealed that the old man that guided the young sorcerer to seek out the other 6 companions in the battle against Chaos turned out to be Chaos himself. And with Otes creating the Sevens Road archetype after taking inspiration from this book, all but helps to make that connection of Otes being this older man and Yuga being the representation of the young sorcerer. Now, as an idea, I really like this turn of events as it makes sense given the amount of guidance and manipulation seen in the relationship between Otes and older Yuga. Now, of course, we don't know the reasons behind Otis' actions because he says it's a secret. But one small prediction I have is that Dole, who is actually missing from this episode, will be warned by Otis when we get that final confrontation between him and our heroes. It's very odd how Goha Yuga was carried to this location, landed, and then Dole disappeared. Maybe that could be symbolism for the fact that Goha Yuga no longer is on the side of evil, and therefore is leaning towards the good side, meaning Dole is no longer needed. But at the same time, still suspicious. Plus the reaction from Yuga when Roman and Gakuto were thinking about how Yuga could be the sorcerer was brilliant. Seeing him flustered and slightly embarrassed was super wholesome. Now, although I get how older Yuga could be the young sorcerer in terms of representing that from the story, a part of me is a little bit confused about the whole destroying the moon aspect. Because that could leave you to believe that Goha Yuga is the young sorcerer instead, since he was helping create chaos and of course the moon's destruction, or the Goha system, which is on the moon's destruction. Then again, older Yuga did create the Rush Duel, sort of making your own dueling program, so swings and roundabouts. Otis revealed yet another truth. He is the creator of the Monster Reborn card, so that's why it didn't affect him when the ritual happened a few episodes ago. Simply put, he was acting. Good acting skills. But why create it? That's my question. He said to give courage to duelists who didn't have the courage to duel. So, is Otis now a therapist? Ah, you fear dueling because you are weak, my child. Let me use Monster Reborn on you, and you will have courage to duel. Yeah, I'm a bit confused by that. If you can let me know in the comments down below, greatly appreciated. So overall, this episode was an okay episode. Nothing spectacular, but still a decent watch nevertheless. I like seeing more of the KO girls, as the personalities of all of them shined through and were very interesting. Love the shot where we saw just like Flush as looking not very interested, but the others were all smiling. Super wholesome. Luke vs Tiger should be very interesting, and now having Otis as the villain confirmed, I thought was good, even if the Monster Reborn explanation was a little bit janky. We kept playing with the idea or question of, is Otis evil, or is he on the side of good? Finally having an answer makes sense. Hopefully the payoff will be rewarding as well. Good job on Nuo for getting your memories back without needing to duel, and still being useful in solving the mystery of the Sevens book. Plus, those Goha sibling pictures of them being small, was just so cute. I'm looking forward to the next episode, and hopefully we get some justice for Nanaho. But those are my thoughts on this episode. Let me know yours in the comments down below, and of course I'll be seeing you next time. Have a great day. Alligator, madane. Goodbye.